going down? It's your boy AG the Dad, and
Big Tone in the building.
we're gonna jump right in. This is all about history. Last time we ran over, so I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time talking about nonsense. So yeah, uh, what subject matter you want to talk about today? We can start from the basic. Introduce yourself.
I mean, it's whatever. They call me Big Twiz. I go by Tony. How's everybody doing out there? You know, I was talking to my man AG. Appreciate you for the invite. You know,
It's all good, man. I'm looking forward to learning some knowledge, my
oh
brother.
man, me too. Also, you know, when a person says they know it all, they know nothing. So you know,
Yeah,
we're just
chime
trying
in.
to figure out the truth, pretty much.
Yeah, chime in. If we say something here that is incorrect, or actually if he says something here that's incorrect, chime in and let us know. Let's debate it. Let's talk about it. We're trying to get to the root of the truth.
I know
So,
that's right.
you know,
And you know, we're not here to offend anybody. We're just here to have a good conversation. You know, this is what shit talking Sundays, aka man cave.
yep.
Pretty much. So, you know, like I said, I appreciate you having me here. You know, hopefully I'll come back more, see how this goes. And as we were talking, you know, we were talking about the Bible, all kind of stuff, and all kind of subjects about the Black history, about what Black people being indigenous to the Americas, uh, the Bible.
You know what?
What's up?
We should just start with, you know, one of those great holidays that are coming up right now. They call it Halloween.
Halloween.
We should just jump in and let's discuss his story of Halloween. I mean, I'm sure you know a lot about that.
A little bit about Halloween.
Well, let's dab a little bit into it.
I mean, we know it's pagan. There's always some kind of reason, like
why was
for
it created?
instance, huh?
Why? How did it come around? I mean, how is it that we shouldn't celebrate it?
I mean, for one, there is definitely a history about Halloween. Me personally, when I had really got into the Bible, it was it's pagan and just the gore, people with faces ripped off. It just didn't make sense with my beliefs when I was really into the Bible. As far as the history around it, we could talk about that another time, but it's just the goons and goblins and all that. I just wasn't into that, too much. And I don't knock nobody for doing it. A lot of people don't know why. I mean, for me, it just didn't feel right with my beliefs into the Bible as far as Halloween goes.
All right, well, then let's talk about the next one that's coming.
We got Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, Thanksgiving. Turkey. We all want to celebrate that, right?
Let's talk about turkey. Well, Thanksgiving for me, it's not about paganism too much. It's just about how when the colonizers came over and took over this land, when we're celebrating that, a lot of people, now I get it. People are always like, well, I don't celebrate it for that reason. I don't celebrate it for that reason. And I get it, the colonizers took over and we got it to now where we have days off of work. A lot of people don't get to hang out with their family. And that is a day that you can all come together. A lot of people have like 2 days off, whatever, 1 day off. So it's a day of family coming together. But when you think about the origins of it, I mean, you have these people come over, bring these diseases. I mean, just coming in the presence of people, pretty much killing them with just being in their presence. Them signing treaties, they didn't know how to farm. They came over here. We taught them how to farm, how to gather food during the winter. We taught them all this stuff. And it's like a backstab, it's always a backstab, you get into it. Now they're coming to a land to where they're not sure about the mountains. They're not sure about the land mass of it. So, we start fighting. They when they came in, they start coming to the tribe places and stealing stealing their food in the winter because they were dying. You know, they were dying out, starving pretty much, coming to this new land.
So let's go back a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Because let's just assume nobody knows anything about anything. We are kindergartners.
Okay.
Who are the colonizers?
Well, the colonizers is the ones that came over from Europe. You got the Dutch. You got the Dutch mainly went down south, but they were coming here. You had Britain, Spaniards,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much a lot of them. Pretty much mainly all of, not too much German. They came a little bit later, but you know when they came over here, you know, and greeted us, we're thinking, you know, we've never seen white faces before. We're greeting them, so we're thinking they're gods, you know. They come over with a smooth tongue, but got a knife behind their back. Pretty much, we just say the Dutch, the British, you know, Portuguese, Spaniards. So yeah.
So Christopher Columbus, was he the first person to discover America?
Well, I know you're being funny because he didn't discover something where people, you know, is already there. But he, before Christopher Columbus, they were already doing trade. There's been Asians over here. There's been Africans over here. They, you know, doing the regular trade like how they do now. When Queen Isabella was able to lift it up to where he could come sail the seas, he was trying to come to find gold. Now, you know, a lot of history says that he was trying to go to India, but made a mistake and came this way. No, he had black Moors with him, or what a lot of people will say Israelites, doing the navigation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had black people on the ship doing the navigation. And he came to the Caribbean first. He never touched foot in North America. So he stopped at the Caribbean first, and that's where he met with the Taino people, the so-called Puerto Rican people. I say so-called Puerto Rican because Puerto Rican means rich port. They're Taino. There was Taino and Arawak Indians there, and when he greeted them, like they thought they were gods. Like actually, they were the first to go on slave ships back to Europe. You know.
So the first indigenous people of America were who?
Well, I would say there was a mixture. In the Grand Canyon, you have Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon. You got the gold in the Grand Canyon and caves to where we can't even go because it's guarded. You know.
Did you guys know that? Fun fact. Google it. Find out. Is he lying?
Message.
Is it the truth? What is the truth?
What is the truth?
Like I said, I'm coming from a position of as if I know nothing, so I will ask as many of the questions that, just like you said, oh, I know you're trying to be funny. Not necessarily, although I know the answer. I knew the answer.
He does. We're just helping you guys out.
Yes,
we're helping the ones that don't know, that not know.
That you might not ask the question. That's why I asked, who are the colonizers? You know, I mean, it gets deeper. I don't know a lot about it. I hear bits and pieces, and so for me, I want to get to the root of it. You know, when we go to school, we learn history, and what is that? What is the true history? Because we are learning now that the television is,
I like that. Television
is how agendas are created. And for me, I like to know a little bit more about what I'm seeing before I get involved with it, because I don't want to be the sheep that's got his eyes covered and not see the wolf coming. So,
which we all have been, you know, but we live in the time of information, and all these white lies are coming out, you know.
Well, you know, I'm gonna just give you the floor for about 10 minutes, and you just preach, man. What is it? Is there something you want to get across. So, you know, I mean,
Well, we'll take it back to we'll take it pretty much back to you know, Thanksgiving. I don't my people. I've traced my roots back to 1752. I have pictures. I've just got pictures of my auntie. A couple of my auntie, my grandmother. They came from Barbados up here to the Americas. They were Seminoles. They were Seminole Indians. My mother's side of my family is from Florida. My father's side is from North Carolina. My grandmother on my father's side, she owned a tobacco farm, and I traced my roots all the way back to 1752. And what I found, they're farmers. You know, said that they were farmers, and you know, back then they they uh they considered us on the, what are those, the census cards.
Mhm.
You know, we're mulatto. I see mulatto colored. If you have African, they would say African on there. My cards go back to mulatto colored, which is pretty much everybody, because they paper genocided us pretty much. You see mulatto, you see colored, you see Negro. Jesse Jackson came out in the 80s with that African American. And you know, with the knowledge coming out, and you have to ask a lot of stuff, because we're a paper genocide. You have to ask your grandparents, your elders, you know, if they're still living. And a lot of our elders do not like talking about the past, you know, because of what they went through. And you know, us as Black people, Latinos, you know, we're taught not to ask questions, not to ask grown-ups questions. So a lot of us don't know. But you know, thank God this is the time of information. Whoever made YouTube, thank you very much.
Yep.
You know, it kind of backfired on them. You know, in these books, they want to put in the books, they want to put, we migrated over here, but a lot of us was already here. I mean, Black people, not all of us, but I would say most of us is indigenous from Alaska all the way down to Argentina. You know, of course, when you get a colonizer that comes and takes over, he's not going to tell you the real history. He's going to tell you his story, and they're going to make themselves look good. And they're going to make us look bad, just like in the media. You know, all they keep talking about black on black crime, black on black crime. Why I don't ever hear white on white crime, when most people that kill white people is white people. But you never hear that. But the media, you know, they put us out there, make us look bad. And I'm not saying that we don't help, because we do help us look awful out there, you know. But it's, you know, when it comes to these holidays, Thanksgiving, that was the genocide of my people. Pocahontas was a Black woman. Her father was a Black woman. I have pictures of them, and we'll bring that out another time. But you know, right now we're just talking a little bit. There's a lot of Black tribes. The first Cherokee were Black. The Seminoles were Black. You know, and there were Africans here too. Not that many. A lot went down to South America, but most of the people here were, you know, Black natives, and we mixed. You know, they're not going to tell us that. They're just going to say we're from Africa, like there was no Black people here, and all the Black people here came from Africa on slave ships. And when you think about it, it's sometimes 3 months, 2.5 months to get over here. Now, how are you going to put 200 people on them ships for that long, and they're defecating? They're having the women having their menstrual cycles, people throwing up, peeing on each other, you know, defecating on each other for all these months. And there's a crew up top. How do they have supplies for that long on these so-called cargo slave ships? You know, it does not make sense. And we're just here to we're here to figure out the truth. I don't know all of the truth. I don't claim to, but I know a little bit of something. And a lot of stuff don't add up. And there is no way that I'm going to celebrate Thanksgiving when that is the genocide of my people. That's just like us saying, oh, there was a Holocaust with Jewish people. So since they were in these camps and all this stuff was happening to them, you know what? Let's make a holiday.
Mhm.
Let's make a holiday on their heartbreak. Let's call it, you know, thanks for being obedient. You know, like it just doesn't make sense to me. Now, with that being said, I get it. And I'm not looking down on people that do that. Like I said, I mean, we're in their structure. We're in the colonized structure.
You know, it's all about commercialization. We all know that, just like what was his name? Was it Wesley Snipes said it best? Uh, Christopher Columbus didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on them.
Malcolm X, Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, which is the truth, we already know. So look, how can you discover a country who already had people on it? So I mean,
Exactly.
that's where the reparations of why the Native Americans were given land and they have all these casinos now. I'm not knocking it. I think it's a great situation. I just think that reparations need to be paid to equal the playing field. More so the fact that you got to understand, for 400 years, a lot of people were getting free labor.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so for 400 years, there was basically in America, there was a race of people that had a significant head start in the economy. And that is the reason why there is so much separation. But there shouldn't be all this fear that if all individuals are on equal playing fields, that there would be chaos and uplift and uprising.
Well, we call that white fear, because if they give us that chance, you know, they're scared we're going to put them back in slavery, and that ain't even the type of people we are.
Okay, now I'm glad you brought that up. Now I do know, I heard someplace in the Bible that it does say that what has been done to blacks, I guess slaves, will one day be flipped, and the captors will become the kept.
Whoever you enslaved, you will be enslaved.
So they say somewhere down the line in our future, there will be a flipping of the power, and I think people take that a little too literal. And I think it's not that there'll be a flipping of power as much as most races are going to be so intermingled that there will be no pure race.
It'll be back to a black planet, pretty much.
So that's where the equalization of power is going to be. But the issue with that is there will always, America is the melting pot of all races.
Right.
Now this is where the origination, the origin of what's going to transpire, I believe, is going to happen starting from America.
And I think that's a beautiful thing, to be around all different races. I think that's a beautiful thing.
I mean,
different is cool.
I think diversity gives for the opportunity for people to learn, see different points of view. If we were all decided that we all at the same time we're going to listen to rave music, there would be a portion of society that would go crazy over time, going, God, why do we have to listen to this? Or rap music, or country, or rock.
Right.
So that's the beauty of there being a diversity.
Yes, it is.
And that's how we grow technologically, because if you only think with one genetic code, then nothing will be achieved outside of the genetic code of your thinking process. So when you have all these different genetic codes that are built in, that's why so many different inventions happen. That's why I always say, Shit Talking Sundays is for you to think outside the box. If you haven't liked, share, subscribe, or hit that notification button yet, I don't know why you haven't. You're still here. You're watching it. Hit that button. If you feel like donating, all I ask, you don't have to be monetary. Share, like.
That's right.
And talk about it. Don't just talk about it, be about it, because every day is Shit Talking Sundays. And that's why I'm bringing his story. It's his story right now. We all got our own story. We just happen to be talking about today indigenous people.
Yeah, and I wanted to elaborate further on what you were saying. It's like going to McDonald's. Don't go to McDonald's, people. It's like going to McDonald's. You're going every day. Sometimes you want a little bit of Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
You might want a little bit of Jamaican food, and that's the beauty of different cultures, and just to learn about different cultures. It's a beautiful thing. Go ahead, brother.
Check this out. If someone out there is all about the purity of their race, and they are in the mind frame of by any means necessary, including violence, which I don't condone. Think about what you would have lost if society wasn't integrated. Anybody who believes in the purity of their own particular race, think about all the different foods you wouldn't have. Chinese food, Mexican food, soul food, Greek food, Russian. I mean, the list goes on and on. So think about that. If you didn't like any other race but your own, and you still eat food that isn't culturally yours, you already not keeping it 100% pure. You're already not, because you're already incorporating another race's culture, at least their eating habits.
Right.
So think about that. So the hypocrisy of any race, black, white, green, yellow, blue, whatever, thinking that the purity is the way. I'm sorry to say, unless you only eat your culture food, you
right,
you ain't keeping it 100. You are teaching your next generation that there is a new food out here. It's called General Chicken, and and it's definitely not what's his name? What's the Confederate general?
Colonel.
Just
one of
the Confederate generals. It's not a Confederate general. It's a Chinese general. It's not an American general. It's it's a Chinese general. General Chicken. General Tao Chicken, which is one of my favorites, by the way. Anyway,
well, I would like to elaborate on what you said. Mm-hmm. Now, I feel like integration for Black people was the worst thing to happen. Integrating, and the reason I said that is because we were trying to get our stuff together. 50 years after slavery, we built our own cities.
Black Wall Street.
Yep. Like our Rosewood. We had a lot of our Black cities is pretty much under lakes. Like you go to Folsom Lake, California, that was a city under the lake. A lot of these Black cities are pretty much lakes now.
You know what's so crazy about that is, and the truth about it, if you go to Folsom, California, and you go to the lake, because the lake level is definitely decreasing.
Yes.
We are finding all kinds of things, and they're actually having to block certain areas off and keep them restricted because there's artifacts that are turning up, and people are like, and we don't want parts of history, I guess, disappearing. But I mean, isn't that?
But still, they're gonna take what they want and then do this display.
Isn't the whole thing is why leave the artifact there where nobody can see it when we can put it someplace? I mean, pay whoever discovered it and put it someplace and call it a day.
Like, what's the big park in Manhattan? I
Central
should know
Park.
this. I was born in New York. Central Park. Central Park was Seneca Village, that was the black city, Seneca Village. You know, it's not there no more. You don't hear about it and the tragedies that happen. You know, and when I say integrate was bad for black people, I want to say 50 years after slavery, you know, we had our own cities and we were doing good. They bombed our cities. That's why the union came out. They needed a union to teach the trade of building. We built this country, you know, we built this country. So, and they were on our land, like as you said, Plymouth Rock landed on us. He was letting you know that we're Aborigines, that we're indigenous to this land. He said Plymouth Rock landed on us, meaning they landed over here on us. So he was letting you know right there. Martin Luther King, his quote was, we're exiled in our own land. He wasn't talking about Africa. He was talking about here. And before he died, they don't let that come out to where he was like, man, I let my people down, burning field by trying to integrate. You know, when he was trying to integrate the schools, he's seen they getting hit in the head with rocks, all that now. And they killed him. He wanted to do a march to talk about reparations, you know, and he was like, man, you know, like, damn, because him and Malcolm X, they had kind of a rift. They liked each other, but they were just, he was like, yo, we need to stay. And when I say it was bad for us because of all the stuff that they did to us, we wanted to be by ourselves, to get our stuff together, and then we can compete with each other and be together. It wasn't to be like, no, we don't want to be around Caucasian people, white people. Let us get our stuff together. We were thriving. We was doing good. And every time we get something, they're bombing it or this happens. Just like we could say almost Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, all these famous celebrities. When they're trying to do some, Ice Cube, he was trying to get a basketball league. The something 3, you heard about that, right?
Ice Cube?
Yeah. He was trying to get
all of them,
you know, something happens.
Bill Cosby, he was trying to buy NBC, from what I understand. That was
okay.
What's that comedian, the old comedian? God, I can't remember his name. With the gray hair, skinny guy.
Gregory.
Not Gregory Hines.
No. He used to write material for him and not Clooney.
George Clooney used to write.
George Clooney, okay. George Clooney.
He wrote stuff. But he said that was why he was silenced.
Right. Because he's trying to buy NBC. Michael Jackson, he owns Sony, bought the Beatles catalog, you know, and once he started talking against the machine, on the sudden now,
for me,
you know, like, but we don't know. This is alleged. We're gonna say alleged.
I mean, you know, you got to do your own research on anything that you're looking at.
Definitely.
I'm just wondering about it, like, just like they said, every artist that was huge is bigger dead. Elvis Presley, his estate is worth more now than it ever was. Michael Jackson, same thing. Right. They said he was in bankruptcy, but his thing is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, I've hung out with Joe Jackson a few times, and he was a solid
guy. Did he whoop your ass?
No. He was slow.
Hey, shout out Joe Jackson.
Yeah, rest in peace. You know,
he didn't make you stack no bricks, did he?
No. But he was a solid cat, very intelligent. Right. He knew how to take a talent and take it to the next level.
I mean, obviously, look what he did with his family.
Yeah, back then it was a challenge, especially having to fight through racism and all the other stuff. Yes. It was very prevalent back then.
Right.
But the silencing, just like R. Kelly. I don't condone nothing that R. Kelly did. If you pissing on kids and messing with little kids, you definitely don't get my vote.
Not at all. It's hard for me to even listen to his music.
I mean,
and I love his music.
Hey, look, one thing I'm gonna say is his music isn't the man. is just what came from the man. And a lot of his music to me was the shit. And he wrote a lot of artist music. There's
He
a
was
lot
a
of
genius when it came to music.
Yes.
Just music.
Yes, but on the other end of it, nah, man. But the point I'm making is there's a lot of other big, huge name celebrities that did the same thing. And some of them did it in your face. And
Jerry Lee Lewis?
we could. I'm not gonna say
we
names,
gonna go way back,
but we're gonna talk about the one guy who adopted a child and then wound up marrying her.
The little Asian lady.
Yeah,
little Asian girl.
Yeah,
we know who it is.
So we're not going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about a very famous singer who married a underage girl. So the fact that they've done that, that's where you look at it and go, that's not really cool.
Right. Right.
So for me, there's not equal justice across the board. Just like what happened in was it Rockland, California, where the football team had a slave auction. And
tell me about this. I've never heard of this. What?
There was the football team kids. They auctioned off some of the other black players or black students or whatever, and they advertised it on social media. And I want to say the NAACP and everything got involved. And when they handed out disciplinary action, the white kids got less harsh sentences. They got less sentences than less punishment than the blacks kids. And that's where if it was wrong to be done regardless, they're both to blame. The black kids for even thinking that it was funny to even participate in that, and the white kids for thinking that it was funny to be participating in it as well. The pain is equal, just on different sides. So for me,
and that's where the black community needs to come in support, because we are behind enemy lines. So when injustices happen to our people, I mean, I understand we behind enemy lines. I mean, if we're not coming together to do something, I mean, are they gonna do something? No, it's their system.
I can't say we're on enemy lines because
when I say enemy, I'm meaning government, higher up. I'm not talking about
the government is always going to have control over the masses
because and the judicial system.
Because without them, we would go into chaos because there's too many other countries. So the people that think we don't need government, no, we need government. Somebody has to be in control of all the weapons of mass destruction that protect civilization, because there are people out there that run countries that have ulterior motives, just like we go back in history to Genghis Khan when he wanted to try to take over the world, Napoleon when he wanted to take over the world, Adolf Hitler when he wanted to try to take over the world. So there's always going to be bad people out there that want to do harm and push their views on the masses. So for me, I look at it from the point of view of, look, do you, and if you want to have your own place, then go have your own place over someplace else. The problem with it is when you start overflowing and growing bigger than the area that you chose, you can't go to war to conquer it. Well, start buy land, buy more land. Take the resources that you've gained in your little community and start buying the land around you. Make people offers that are so good that they're like, hey man, that's a great offer.
And we need conversations about exactly what he's talking about.
But
we need that education.
It still goes back to I know we've been all over the place with this history stuff, but let me tell you, the reparations part, how can you pay it back? Look, same way you paying the Indians, the Native Americans. I would say for the next 400 years, no taxes. for anybody who has
Free health care.
more than
Build us our own schools.
30 or 40% colored, black, whatever you want to call it, Negro. If you could prove that, then no taxes for the next 400 years, and that'll allow that race to play a little bit of catch up.
And also, real quick, before I'm sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I do want to say we are behind enemy lines, because just like we were talking about, how that there was really no justice, or what really happened was not, it wasn't handled right. So when we go in these courts, and a lot of us can't afford attorneys and lawyers, so we are, because the system is played against us, and it always has been. In the Constitution, we're still 3/5 of a human being is so-called black people. I would like to call us indigenous people, because everywhere we go, we are indigenous to the land.
And it's crazy. There are places in the United States that still have laws on the books that still prohibit people of any color other than Caucasian to not be allowed out past
sundown towns.
Sundown law.
So I feel that we are behind enemy lines, and we have to look out for that. And then we have enemies in our own people as our enemies. That we, like Tupac said, it's not the white man I should fear, it's my own kind doing all the killing here. So we can't just blame one whole set of people. It's lack of education, lack of resources. In the 80s, when you have a factory and it's booming, and you got blacks coming from the South to come work down in LA, and then all these blacks coming in these neighborhoods, and they're doing good, but these other people don't want these white people. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want them next to them in the neighborhood. So white flight comes. They take their jobs. They take whatever resources to make money, and then you flood. Then you flood the community with drugs. You get the drugs to flood the community. You take away their resources, and what do you have left? Of course, you have crime, and then what do? You put it up on the news that we don't own. Hey, look at these people. They're animals. They're doing this. They're doing that. Well, if I go in your community and take away your jobs and your food, how are y'all going to act? How do y'all act? How do a lot of y'all act with your resources? But once you do that to a people, and they got the whole world looking at us like savages, and some of our people are. But I mean, who's the real?
The problem when they say that any race that you want to call savages, if you take, I don't care what race you are, including white,
right?
If you take any race, and you put them in an environment where they have nothing, they will all turn into a savanistic like state, because hunger, insecurity, all that, in
the Bible, the Israelites were eating their kids.
Let me tell you, because so the fact that other races come from other countries, migrants, asylum, whatever, as soon as they get here, we give them tens, and in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars to come settle here, when we have homeless on the street, and even worse,
good one,
veterans that have fought for our country and have died and been dismembered for our country, that are sitting on the streets.
That's right.
I have a problem with it. I mean, not to say that anybody shouldn't be able to flee from a tyrant or a society that they feel is not for them. But for you to get it over the people that have actually bled for this country, I have a problem with that. I mean, my father was treated very badly. And that's why, I mean, I'm not going to say F the military and all that, because without the military, we would be helpless. So there is a need for it. But I will say that there are people in the military that are pieces of shit, straight up.
Right.
And I mean that with all respect, because some of the people that did my father dirty, you are a piece of shit. And but the vast majority of our U.S. forces are honorable and outstanding people. So I'm only talking about a very small group of
Right,
maybe
right,
10.
right.
You know,
Right.
Other than that, the rest of the United States Army, we got the mightiest army in the world, and I believe in our president, no matter who he is. That's the problem that we have to understand and address.
You believe in the president? Huh?
Now, let me explain when I say that.
Okay. Okay.
I believe that whatever laws that we have created,
Okay.
if the president or a person that we want to look up to as a leader of the masses, to keep law and order, if he's doing right, then I'm all for him trying to be the thing that he's trying to be. Whether or not I believe in the electoral process of it,
Right.
that's a little bit different, because there's so much room for error in that. But people know who people really want, and I believe that when Trump got in office, based on the demographics, the way that the electoral states are laid out, he was the one that the people wanted. And I think it was because they wanted to see a change. They wanted to shake up the government. And believe you me, I honestly believe that Donald Trump shook up the government.
And black people were most in the workforce, mostly employed during his term.
So
just wanted to throw that out.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm pro Trump or anti-Trump. I am pro-president, because I'm hoping that the president leads the country in the direction to keep us from being able to prosper and live our lives and create legacies for our children and our future. But with that also being said, I also expect the president to right the wrongs of his story by making things right, because there's a lot of people that were done wrong and are still prospering from all of that.
Well, they always press they need the black vote. See, we have more power than you guys think we do, and there's more of us than you think there is. They really need that black vote. And, it's just so hard because they promised this. They go meet with some preachers, some pork chop preachers, some donut deacons.
Well, yeah,
they go meet with them and they talk a good one, what they're going to do for the black community. But I really don't see them doing anything. They want that vote. They get in, they get laxed. So I want to say I voted for Obama because he was. Now I don't like getting into politics too much, but I voted for Obama just because he was the first black president. But when he got in,
people did.
Yeah, and when he got in, what the hell he do for us? But now people, we can't wait for people to. I want y'all to get out the mindset of what can he do for us, But for him being the first black president, something major should have happened for the black community. Even bringing up the reparations, we deserve reparations. A lot of people. How do you give? Okay, the Japanese, they came and attacked us. We attacked them. Now you see a lot of Japanese people in Hawaii, a lot of Japanese people here. They get checks. The Chinese, they get checks. They built the railroads. The Native Americans, and a lot of Native Americans, only some tribes, they call them the civilized tribes for one. Those were the ones helping them catch the runaway slaves. And I hate to call us our ancestors slaves. We were enslaved. Let's get that right. Let's get that together right there. So for us to not get oh, you guys are fine. You got welfare. Well, there's more white people on welfare than there's black people. You know, there's oh, you guys are fine. You're good now. You're doing good. There's like 4 to 400 billionaires in this country. 400 billionaires in this country are 400 rich people. I can't remember the statistics, but they have more money than all the black people in the country. Like they had a head start. 98%. Yeah, and it's like we were doing good. We had our own communities doing good. But the white guilt and they were scared that we were going to take over. It is not. I mean, man, you see the lady that killed the cop, the white lady that shot the black
cop who shot the black dude in the apartment.
Yeah. Now, when she's on trial crying, and we have a black deputy over there rubbing her head, don't cry. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are the most forgiving people. It is not in our nature to be like that.
I mean, look, I'm
not
here,
all of us.
I'm not here to preach hate at all because it's like I said,
well, that's not hate. That's
no, right. Yes. Okay. For me, I don't do racism, bullying, none of that. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying so the viewers know.
Yeah, we definitely not doing that. Me, that's not the.
I do believe
of this.
Everybody is innocent till proven guilty, but in this society. If that was true, why are we incarcerated before we are given due process? And in a lot of cases, we're not even allowed to we can't afford to pay the bail to get out, to be able to build a case, to have due process, because whatever reason they want to call it. That's the problem. In America, you are guilty until proven innocent, even though the Constitution says we are innocent until proven guilty. The moment you're arrested, they automatically assume that you're guilty. Think about that. How can you be arrested, taken to jail, unless they had, the smoking gun? And I don't mean that for murder or whatever, just whatever crime you commit, unless they got it. And the beauty of it now is there's so many cameras out that whatever you do can be documented. So they're usually clear-cut cases. And why, when you have a guy who has the gun, he pulls the trigger, he shoots the person dies, it's all on film, but we have to have a big old multi-million-dollar trial for something where you can clearly see he did it. Okay?
That goes to show that we are behind enemy lines.
So, like I said, you are guilty till proven innocent.
Yes.
Because you're incarcerated until you can do whatever you got to do.
Exactly.
But yet all these rich people, and the crazy thing, look at this. Look at all these people. Let's talk about the news. All these people that are getting caught up with these classified documents and refusing to answer a subpoena and stuff like that. And if a regular citizen, so now I'm just talking about people in general.
Okay.
If anybody, you, me, black, white, green, yellow, average citizen, did the exact same thing, what happens? Do you go to jail or do you get to run around the street? Better yet, if we had a bunch of top secret documents and we didn't disclose it, would we still be able to call a master, what do they call that master dude that was a arbitrator or whatever, that he's looking over all the papers and stuff? We couldn't do all that. A special master? What is this? why is the law different for wealth level? It should be across the board, just like our taxes issue. Come on, no brainers. If you charge the poor 30%, then charge the rich 30%. I don't care if they make more.
Whew, man.
Okay?
That
makes no
good.
sense.
Yeah.
Why are you going to tax the people who need the money the most more than the people who need the money the least?
A boogie.
That will help equalize the haves from the haves. Not, it just makes no sense. Why does taxes have to be so complicated? Businesses, okay, all businesses get taxed at this amount. Okay, well, you got X amount of employees. Well, you know what? Make it so that it makes sense. Right. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. I mean, they made it complicated so that we have to, man, look.
It's like we empower you, going to get what we give you pretty much. The haves and the have-nots. That's just what it is. You know, I mean, when it comes to voting, I mean, hey, they can do something with the numbers, you know. Hey, what happened with the numbers they were messed with?
Yeah, we already know that all that. Yeah.
So what do you feel we should get? What do you think?
For reparations?
Yes. Because
the 40 acres and a mule right now ain't gonna work because.
But what is the equivalent to 40 acres and a mule today? What is the equivalent?
You know what?
40 acres and a mule back then. What is the equivalent?
I tell you what, 40 acres back then would be the equivalent of a minimum of $1 million.
Right.
If you gave,
and that ain't even a lot of money.
You know, if you gave every ancestral slave, enslaved person that down there in their ancestry line is basically every person of color.
I mean, what do you give to Israel every year?
The amount of money that we pay other countries, if we just did that one time and just said, all right, everybody gets one payment froze, we're just going to pay reparations, get this over with. To be honest, here's the irony of that. And it's so crazy because if the government was to pay every black person $1 million, half the blacks would be broke overnight.
With hella Cadillacs and Mercedes.
and I mean that with all respect, because we value to use off the top Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada, you know, all those as status things of, oh, because I have these, I'm better than everybody else. And it doesn't have to be that. Look at Jay-Z and all of Dr. Dre. When they were in the beginning stages, they rocked. I'm not even know if it was real or not real, but let's just say they rocked a lot of bling.
The big dookie ropes, the big gold.
And now that they are rich, close to billionaire in some cases, and one of the cases I think is a billionaire. He don't rock no jewelry. I think his wedding ring is just a napkin holder. I call napkin those little rings with, you know, not too flashy napkin holders. So the one thing you should learn from looking at the rich people is rich people ain't flashy because they got nothing to prove to you.
Bill Gates. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't drive a Subaru.
Warren Buffett still drives an old car, living in an old little ass house, and he doesn't give a shit because he has nothing to prove to you, because at any time he can do whatever he wants to do. And the problem is, are you here? Are you put on earth to make everybody else happy? Or are you here to make yourself happy? Are you here to live your best life? Or are you here to live the life everybody else wants you to live? For me, I live my life trying to be as happy as I can be. I used to sweat the little stuff, but I realized as you get older that, man, it's too hard to sweat the little stuff because there's so much little shit to sweat that you will, and this is just a figure of speech, you will kick the dog out of frustration. And I love animals. I got two, and I love them to death. So I don't hear none of that animal bashing BS because I love my dogs to death, and I'll smack you for thinking that I beat dogs.
Hey, and you know, at the same time, you know, black people never really had something. So it's like when we get something, we want to show, hey, this is success. These shoes, these cars, these clothes. And you know, with these billionaires, like you said, like Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, you know, that would be cool if they opened up a school for us. You know what I'm saying? To teach real history, to teach economics, you know, to teach technology, to teach some real education, something that is going to help. So you know, when you get out of high school, you know what you want to do. You already know. You already got it because you learned this, and it was amazing.
Trade
You know?
schools were in every high school when I was growing up.
Wood
When you
shop.
graduated, you had a trade.
Yeah,
And they
work
took it
on
out.
cars. No
Home
how to work on
economics.
cars.
If you can't
Yes.
if you can't
Yeah.
cook
Yes.
for yourself to know how to feed
You see, I'm
yourself,
fat. That was a class I did not miss.
if you can't feed yourself, you're gonna constantly spend money buying food out and always be broke. You got to understand the system
Yes.
is set up to make you spend as much money as you possibly can to keep you broke as they possibly can keep you. Because if you don't have any money, you can't do shit. But if you have an abundance, you're just going to spend it. That's why I made the comment of if they paid $1 million reparations to people,
it'd be broke. They'd be broke. You that is right.
you know, maybe not overnight, but trust and believe everybody gonna go
Over
out
the
and buy
next
some
night.
bullshit.
Over the next night, we have to teach. That's why I want to get into economics. I would love to, like, young parents, 20 years old, you know, they just had I would love to have classes for them about economics, what to do with their money, what to do with their credit. My dad, when I turned 18, they were sending me credit cards. My dad didn't give them to me, and I'm glad he didn't.
Mhm,
He cut them up because I probably would have messed them up, you know,
mhm.
and never paid them back. It would have been
Go
on
ahead.
my credit.
Yep,
But you know, it would have been cool if I was taught about credit. You know, it seems like in our community a lot, all they feel like, hey, you know what? I'll take care of you. I'll pay these bills. That's it.
Mhm.
Pretty much. Go play. Go get out of my face. Then Nintendo's come. Nintendo's is raising your kids just to get them out of your, you know, when the pandemic came and these parents were so mad that their kids was home with them, they didn't know what to do. And they're putting it on YouTube, showing the world that their kids is driving them crazy. They're not used to them being home with them all the time. That is the time you teach.
You know,
You bring these kids in this tore up world. You have to teach them life skills. Go ahead, Ed.
the problem with society is we keep preaching separation. Electronics and technology has evolved to the point where now they no longer need your permission to educate the youth. We can just
Right.
feed it directly through the internet to the masses. And think about how many parents, and I'm guilty, think about how many parents pacify their children with the iPad. And when I'm talking about 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-olds, as soon as they're old enough to hold an iPad,
They have it.
they have it, and they work it better than grandma and grandpa do. Because I know my grandkids can operate an iPad better than my mom.
Oh yeah.
So that's how
That's
we
real.
know that, you know, our kids are being lazy, to say it best.
And I made sure my son had all that, but he couldn't play it during the week. And during the weekend, go out and play, go out and do this, go out and do that. You cannot just stay in the house all day playing all night. You know, no. So he barely played it. If he had friends stayed over, because I didn't really like my kids going out to other people's house and staying the night because I didn't know what they were doing in their household. Unless you were my friend and we barbecued together, and well, that's different. You know, but hey, the kids can come over this way. I know how my household is. I would have all the kids over, you know, and they'll be kicking it, hanging out. But yeah, man, what you said is so true. There is 4 years old, 5 years old, big ass iPad, bigger than their torso, and they stay in it. It could be Thanksgiving. Where's little Joey?
Mhm.
over there on that damn iPad. You know where little Joey is all the time when you come over. He on that damn iPad, getting all that radiation, all in his face. So
Well-
yeah, you hit the nail on the head on that. That's real.
Hey, look.
I
So
like that. I like that.
I just wanted to introduce you to the masses today to let people know that you exist. I
Thank you,
think
young sir.
we
Appreciate you.
gonna figure out a subject matter that we gonna want to talk about every day. I just wanted people to know that his story is gonna be out here. We gonna tell you stuff about history, Christmas, pagan Christmas, why it was brought about, where it originated from. We gonna talk about New Year's. We gonna talk about every holiday.
Yeah, this
that
is
you
just
see.
this is just us just vibing a little bit. We
This
know,
is
but we
first
gonna
one.
get into it. We gonna get into it. But we just, I
Yeah.
appreciate it, man.
We gonna- yeah.
This a good brother, man. This a good. I gotta tell this story real quick. He looked like this dude I can't stand. I'm like, oh, I can't stare, but I don't know him. But he looked like this dude I can't stare. I'm like, man, we got to talking, and this is a brother for life right here. This is a good brother. I really appreciate
that.
you,
Appreciate
and we're
that.
gonna, we're gonna give y'all some knowledge.
If you got ideas,
and let us know. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Let us know. We're here to learn. We don't know it all. Let's just talk about it.
here's my direct phone number. You can reach me at 912-486-5010. Leave me a message. I'll reach back out to you if I don't answer. And if you want to email me, you can email me at agthedad@shittalkingsundays.com. I'll get back to you on that one as well. If you got an idea or subject matter you want to talk about, let us know.
Definitely. Yeah, let's talk about it.
This has been his story.
A small bit.
A small bit.
We're just beginning. I could talk a lot.
Yeah. What
See that mouth?
what is the truth? What is the truth?
What is the truth, y'all? Can y'all help us? Can we, come on, let's have this conversation.
Yep. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button. And you know what? Next week, 3:00, we're gonna hopefully have Uncle B here and this cat.
I will be here. I will
And,
be here.
We're gonna try to make it happen because it's all about trying to get
Education.
the education out there.
It's all
So,
about the education. We trying to educate people. We want all people to come together.
Yep.
This is we're talking a lot about our people, but we're talking about people in general. We love everybody. Everybody come in. We want to hear what different races have to say. We just don't want a black audience. We want everybody. We want the melting pot. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out because this is the start of healing, my brother.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yeah.
This
Right.
is the start of healing.
Right.
So
Knowing the truth.
yeah, definitely.
What do they always say? The truth shall set you free. So let's speak the truth and let's get to the bottom of the truth so that we can start the healing process.
Keep us
All right.
free.
With that being said, I'm AG the Dad of Shit Talking Sundays. History, his story. See you next week, 3:00. Every Sunday. We're gonna try to do it every Sunday.
Great.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.